Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to show how we can move a shape or a picture or an object in Microsoft Excel using VBA programming, and I'll give you a real quick demonstration on how I'm going to do that. I'm going to run this macro and we'll see this object rotate and enlarge at the same time while it comes towards the right. So if this is something that you're interested in doing, please stick around and watch this video, and let me go on and show you how we can get started on this code. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is insert the shape or object that you're going to be working with. In this case, I worked with the shape and I put the smiley face in, and of course format it to your preference. The only thing I did on mine was just change it to yellow, and I did a shape outline as being automatic, and the position, I mean, it can be anywhere you want, but what I'm going to do is go to my developers tab and go to Visual Basic. The very first thing that I needed to set up was a timeout or a sleep function, which in this case I built right here, sub timeout, and I'm going to go on and just start from scratch on the code. But the timeout, this part is very important. All this is just a procedure that I created to where it sleeps for the duration milliseconds that you establish. So I can do timeout, that's going to be really when you do milliseconds, like if you put 0.01, it's going to sleep for 0.01 milliseconds, and then it'll do whatever procedure you want. And I'm going to do 5, and I'm going to play this out. Macro run. So if I run it, you're going to wait for 5. It'll pause for 5 seconds, and then eventually it'll do the procedure you asked for, a test. So what we're going to do though is we're going to work with the shape. This is smiley face 2, and what we're going to work with is you're going to do sheet 1 shapes, the name of the shape, and then there's a couple of things that we're going to work with. We're going to work with the left. I'm going to put this as a single quote so that it's not executable code. We're going to work with the left, the top. We're going to work with the height, the width. Alright, so we have the left, top, height, and width. We're going to need to do also the rotation. Now the way I did the video is all I did was I created a repetition of and I did 4 rep is equal to 1 to 400. There's a couple of ways that you can do this. Just for this video, I'm just going to put rep count is equal to 0. I'm going to create a do loop. Do events is important. Do events, what this does is this allows the Visual Basic environment to complete all the events that you've asked for, and that way you can see it on the screen. And if you weren't to have a do events and you were just to finish your loop like this, loop until rep count, let's say, is equal to 300. And of course we're going to need to add a rep count. Rep count is equal to rep count plus 1, so that way we're counting up to 300. But without the do events, you won't be able to see the application process these events right here and see it on the screen. So very important that you have the do events. And here what I'll do is now make this executable, and we'll put rep count. Now I'll show you how you can change this in a bit, but that way we can get this started. Let's try running this macro. We got to put a timeout. I'm going to say recommend 0.01, and let's just run this code. Macro run, and you see the smiley face rotating here. Now of course you're going to be able to change this to your likings, to your preference. Let's say I didn't want to keep, I wanted to keep the height consistent, and I wanted to keep it, not the height, I'm sorry, the top. Top is where it's positioned on the spreadsheet. So top and left will be your X and Y. So I'm going to play this again. So as we can see, the smiley face now stays at a fixed, not at a fixed height, but at the top level. So let me go on and change this rep to 400. Macro, I'm going to run that. So of course you'll be able to, if you want to set up different variables. Let's say you wanted a width variable. What you should do is, before the loop, put width variable to the amount that you want. In this case you want it to be 10, and you're going to want it to get rather wide quickly. You do width variable is equal to width variable plus, let's say, 3, and change the width. Instead of it being rep count, it's going to be width variable. Of course you're going to have a very stretched out object, but let's just say this is what you want to do. Let's run the macro. Click run. It's getting wider very quick. But I'll let you mess around with this. I mean, you can do the same principle that we use right here. You can use it on pictures just when working with the shapes. So make sure you change the name of the shape to the name of the object that you're working with. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.